Hello, YouTube family. Welcome to Veteran Hands. Today is a little bit more serious than most of my videos. So yesterday I was at the Veterans Resource Center and we were finishing up all of our classes. And in our developmental class, the question was brought up, how often do we normalize talking about our mental health? And I'm not going to go into all the conversations that were had, but it really made me think. At a very young age, when I say very young age, comparatively, 17, my father committed suicide. I was 2 weeks away from graduating high school, and it has impacted my life ever since. That being said, I've always been an advocate for mental health treatment. And through that experience, it really makes me more aware of what I'm doing for my mental health or for others. And I've let myself get in some really bad places, even though a lot of times I feel that I have a good emotional IQ or I'm self-aware, or taking my inventory in a lot of places. But But through this conversation, it was very enlightening on how people try to do that, even though my answer, I wanted to say, yes, I normalize it. But honestly, my answer is, I want to normalize it. So the answer was no. In our society, in our day, we get too busy. Certain things are still considered kind of taboo to talk about, or unfortunately, seen as a weakness in some areas, especially when it comes to the professional environment. It doesn't seem to be something that we normalize because we're afraid it's going to show a weakness that's not going to allow us to keep moving forward. But with that being said, we were talking about resources, and we all know about, specific resources. We might have heard about different ones. But one I've always heard about that was brought up by the instructor in the class was 988. He's like, who's heard of 988? And I'm like, I've heard about it. I've seen it on TV shows. I've never called it. There's times where I should have called it. And that's what I really want to talk about in this video today is there's resources out there that are pretty instant. So 988, if you call that number, which I haven't. So I really... in my head, I was like, you call that number, they're going to get you in touch, blah, 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 whatever. But let me give you a little rundown of what 988 is. So I want to read this verbatim because it was very enlightening to me, actually, to the point where I'm going to make sure that I use it when I get into any funks. I'm not waiting to see my normal therapist, which I do. I actually have 3 right now. Three. For different things. My PTSD therapist, my general mental health therapist, and my third super secret growth therapist. All right. So a lot of people associate 988 with the suicide hotline, right? That's what you consider it to be. But it's not just that. And that's what was really enlightening to me. So 988 is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, a free confidential mental health support line available 24/7 across the United States. Okay, that's kind of what I understood. It's a national 3-digit number for mental health, substance use, and suicide crisis, similar to how 911 is used for emergencies. It connects you directly with a trained crisis counselor at the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. How does it work? You can call, you can text, or chat of any way, like whatever chat app you use, you can chat to 988 and you can get there. So you just dial 988, or on chat online, you can go to 988lifeline.org/chat. I'll put that in the description of this so you can see that. You'll be connected with a trained counselor. Calls are routed based on your area code to the nearest crisis center in the Lifeline network. If a local center is unavailable, your call is answered by a backup national center. They listen and help. Counselors provide support, coping strategies, and connect you with local services if needed. Now that's kind of what I thought that they would do. They would just kind of connect you. I didn't realize some of the stuff as we go through here. They are trained in trauma-informed care, de-escalation, and emotional support. When to call. So this is another thing I thought, if you call this, in my mind, it's a critical emergency 911. If you're just having a bad day, you call, you're going to get in trouble, right? When to call. You're having thoughts of suicide, you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, depressed, or out of control. Now, that's not saying you're feeling like you have to call only when you're feeling suicidal. If you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, you can call. Interesting, right? When you're concerned about a friend or a loved one, you can call 988. I didn't know that. I've been very concerned and didn't really know who to call before. That's enlightening in itself. You need help with a substance use crisis or mental health concern. Maybe you have a mental health concern or a substance use concern that's not an emergency at the moment, like you're not about to take your life, but you have a concern that's great enough that you feel yourself that you're at a turning point and you don't want to hit that rock bottom. You can call that line and they can get you set up with stuff. Like, that's pretty enlightening to me, because I'm amazed that there's a free service out there that you don't have to go to the point, the tipping point completely. Like, there's a free service out there that will help you stop where you need to stop in advance to prevent your life from spinning completely out of control. So here's the key points. It's free and confidential. It's available 24/7, 365 days of the year. Yes, that includes Christmas, which is unfortunately, the highest day, or the most suicides of the years during the Christmas time. And it's a shock for a lot of people, but when you start getting to my age, which I'm 46, you lost quite a few people in your life, whether it be family or friends. When you start getting to Christmas, I mean, my mother is the last one left out of 8 of her brothers, sisters, and Christmas is lonely. It's just a big reminder of these huge gatherings of love and affection and kids running everywhere and food and all this, and you're the only one sitting there alone eating a TV dinner. I mean, I can see how it can be super depressing. That's why we got to make sure that we're embracing those that we know have lost a lot of people during those times. We need to bring them into our families. Let them be a part of ours. Yeah, a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't want to trigger them by them seeing. No, bring them in, show them love. Give them that love. Let them feel that warmth in your home. It's not just suicide. It's for emotional or mental health crisis. That's the fourth key point, and that really hit home. So what are the national suicide rates right now? I'm gonna find that out. I'm actually talking to someone way smarter than me. So it's giving me the stats for 2023. In 2023, there were over 49,300 reported suicide deaths in the U.S., which was very close to the 49,500 in 2022. So that's a lot. So everyone's heard the 22 a day for vets. That was a big campaign to try to, let everyone know, that, there's a lot of, with veterans coming out of the military, there's a lot of things that are involved in that and why that happens. And I'm not an expert. I go through a lot of the situations that are personal to me, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Real quick, but before I completely get away from 988, I do want to say one thing. So I'm chasing a butterfly back. My daughter watches these videos and she's like, Dad, butterfly. So I apologize. But with 988, before I get completely away from that, I did have another individual in the class, and he said he called him. He was getting overwhelmed, and he called him, And he said he talked to him for hours. And by the time he was done, he was relaxed. They related to him. Got to the point where they were joking on the phone, and he just felt so good by the end of the call. He got everything off his chest. They listened to him. He just got to vent, and they gave him some very sound, just concrete, 10 toes down, just here's some stuff that you can do right now to just breathe and get through this. And after it was all said and done, it was just really nothing. That just kind of blew over. But he had been so stuck on it that he was building it into this big ball of anxiety and depression that was really pushing him over the edge. So I did get, one person that I talked to that did have this really amazing, oh, check it out, bird right there on my thumb. Oh, there's Zeus right there. Zeus! And if you do have PTSD or do you have anxiety and depression in your life, I do highly recommend one of these little four-leggeds, which I like. There you go. What's up, Zeusy boy? So highly recommend them. They're amazing creatures. So now a lot of sources are citing 24 veterans a day. So yeah. So that being said, in the military, a lot of us joined when we're transitioning from being codependent or dependent on our parents and our teachers and our coaches for how we lived our lives, right? Like our lives were structured by them, our aunts or uncles, whatever it was, and grandparents that kind of helped us grow up and mold our day-to-day to-do list and get us to school, get us to functions, and feed us and make sure we had the resources. And we transition into being an adult or, self-sufficient, whether we were paying for our own housing, paying our own bills, buying our own food, providing our own food. And if you're doing that, this is where you're saying, okay, I'm going from this sheltered life to the real world life. And you do that going through the military. You go into basic training, and it kind of break you down to where you have nothing for that 8 weeks, right? 8 weeks to 12 weeks, depending on what branch you're in, or more. I don't even know what it is nowadays. It's been a long time. But you go in there, and you're broken down to pretty much a baseline, right? You're all equal, and this is it. Like, you get basic food, clothing, shelter, and physical training. Like, you are the tool for your life, and you're broken down to nothing else but bare necessities. And you're giving these rules, and you're giving what the repercussions will be if you don't follow rules. You start following these rules, and they start adding more rules, and they start adding more repercussions, and with that they start adding more responsibilities. Once you get towards the end of basic training, they start adding accolades. So as you follow the rules better, or you excel, and they give you opportunities to achieve along with just following basic rules. Now, if you want to go out and do something, honor guard, element chief, flight chief, different things like that, they start giving you these opportunities. And then they start preparing you to figure out where you're going for in the Air Force, we called it tech school. And Army, I think Marines, they call it A school as well. Navy, it's Seaman A school. You're getting ready to go to these, pretty much kind of like a very condensed college, where you're going to school and you're doing physical, whatever it is for your specific job. So they're getting you ready for that. So now you're getting to be more of a worker. So you're going away from this baseline of just, you're doing what you're told and that's it. So they've now kind of rewired you to where now you have to be self-sufficient. They've taken away this bubble of everyone's doing everything for you to now you have to be you're the one doing it, right? You're moving in to this structured environment, and then once you get through all the training and you're on the job, you get your on the job training, you have to go to your medical. They make you have to do your checkups. If you have an ailment, you have to go to the doctor. I can't tell you how weird it was when I got out of the military and I had a doctor's appointment. I told my supervisor at my civilian job, I said, okay, hey, next week at 3 o'clock, I have to go to a doctor's appointment. And they were like, oh, you're gonna have to reschedule that because we need you here. I was like, don't you want me to go to my, like, it was very odd for me. Like it literally caused me some like anxiety because I didn't understand it, right? So there's things with that. So your medical appointments you have to go to, your dental appointments, you have to take care of yourself. But you have to manage that. And so then you have to manage your housing, whether you are on base housing or in the dorms if you're a young airman in my case. But they go through and you have to manage everything, but it's still very structured. And you have these specific rules, and you know everyone around you has these rules, and you have a chain of command. So if for some reason you don't like how you're being treated by your employer, which is the U.S. military, you have a chain of command. You can talk to what if it's a low level thing where it's just you and another person are having disagreements, you can talk to them. If that doesn't resolve it, you talk to the direct supervisor above you. If that doesn't resolve it, you go up the chain until you finally get a resolution, and it works every time. That in the civilian world usually falls apart in a lot of times. I say usually, probably not usually. We'll just say a lot of times that falls apart because people don't use it, and it's not enforced in my experience, right? So there's a lot of things like that that kind of feed into this very strange conversion into the civilian world. So with that, the veteran population has a much different experience when it comes to mental health, because not only do they have your normal day-to-day work, bills, family, but they also have this conversion of things in their head that has been beat into them to train them to live a life in a society that they no longer live in, and now they're trying to convert it into this society that is way less structured, and things happen that to them is completely should not be happening, and the neuroplasticity of that can get very rigid. I just woke up and had me some W energy drink, so forgive the big words, right? So the thought process can be stuck in the box, right? So with that being said, I know that was a long little spiel there, but if you know anyone that's suffering, if you are suffering, this is what I'm not going to ask you to reach out to me. If you want to talk one-on-one, to talk to someone that's been through it, yes, please reach out to me. And if you know anyone that's getting severe or you're getting severe, call 988. They have the exact resources you need. It's immediate. You can call right now on your phone. It will get you directly to a trained counselor. You can start speaking to them now. You can stop the bleeding figuratively, and hopefully before there is any actual bleeding. You can stop it figuratively before it happens. Please do. You are important. You are loved. If you want to talk to me, contact me on this channel. If you want to do it anonymously, I have opened up my my website. I'm not really promoting it too much right now because I'm still going to a lot of school. I got a lot of things going on in my life, but I am taking orders for different things. But with that being said, there is an email on there that I will get on my phone. It's info@veteranhands.org. Email me there. I'll get it. Just say, hey, I saw your video. I want to talk. I'll reach back out to you with my mobile number and I'll talk to you. And if it's not even about mental health, if it's about ideas about my work or whatever it is, if it's how do you get into the Veterans Resource Center, if it's how do you get more benefits. I'm at 30% since 1995 and I should be at 100. I'm working with someone right now and they will be at 100 by next year, and it is amazing. But with the mental health stuff, normalize talking to each other. Sit down with your friends. You know when they don't seem right, ask them. If they start saying some crazy things that you're like, whoa, that's not normal, ask them, talk to them. They need you. And if you feel you're not right, talk to somebody. Let them know, I don't feel right. And if the first person doesn't seem to give you the feedback that you need, keep going. Call 988. Talk to your friends. Reach out to me. I mean, let's find somebody there that knows what they're doing that can actually help you out, because you're important. And I know I'm rambling. It is very passionate to me. I love each and every one of you. God bless you. And thank you for watching this. Please like and subscribe. The more people I can get and the more people we can help together, it means the world to me. Thank you so much. Y'all have a blessed day.